Oh, it's a country music time machine, taking us back to where the grass is green, with twangs and tales from days gone by. Let's ride those old trails neath the open sky, in our country music time machine, in our country music time machine.
Well, howdy, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you. This is your old pal, Kevin. This is the Country Music Time Machine. Hope everybody's doing well. You know the deal. When we do the Front Porch podcast, you got to chime in. We take the role around here. Yeah, we really do. So whether you're regular or you're irregular, you're irregular, I feel bad for you. But please chime in. Let me know where you're dialed in from, how life is treating you today. Say howdy to us. We do it whether you're new or you're old, and especially you new folks who haven't been tuning in to the Country Music Time Machine before. Please, let's take attendance and let me know who you are and where you're viewing from. As always, big thanks to the Home Depot, the place that has great stuff, not only for your front porch, but also your back porch. As you can tell, I'm not on the front porch. Can't believe I missed that. Weather here in Middle Tennessee has not been good the last few days. Rain. It's not even warm. It's like fall, or it's not really like spring. It's not warm. So I didn't want to get the equipment wet. So we're inside the Country Music Time Machine house and chilling out back here and doing tonight's show from, I guess I call this the kitchen. It's the kitchen table, really, and the kitchen's over there. But thank you for tuning in. And if you're at the Home Depot, make sure you check out the Blink Outdoor 4 camera, because it's a pretty good camera. I got them all over the place here on my little piece of heaven on earth in Tennessee. And I'll show you one of the greatest videos of the week here. This is a video of a big truck parked in the front yard moving my stuff from Belize. Yep. All my stuff that's going to be probably at a yard sale sometime pretty soon because I have too much junk was there. Yeah, it's just something else. Let's go check the comment section. Let's see where everybody is dialed in from tonight. Let me scroll up here. Of course, we got William May in Chapel Hill, Tar Heel Country, North Carolina. We got DDRR. Remind us where you're dialing in from, because I'm not as young nor am I as handsome as I used to be, and I can't remember everybody's place. I can remember some, but not everybody's. So DDR, let me know where you dialed in from. Katie is saying, hey, y'all, from Tuscaloosa, spraying corn with my military K9 riding shotgun. Cool. Speaking of military, Katie, I don't know if that's a Marine. I don't know if that's a Marine dog, a devil dog. I've got my U.S. Embassy detachment, Moscow, Russia. The U.S. Marines in Moscow, Russia. Shout out to them. Thank you so much, Katie, for tuning in. Joshua John, as always, is up in upstate New York. DDRR is in Wisconsin, in the house. We got P. Smith in Albuquerque, Nuevo Mexico, or New Mexico, if you speak English in that neck of the woods. Who else we got? We got J-Cat. Hi, Kevin and all. J-Cat checking in from Portland, Oregon. We got Crazy Bear 53, Little Rock. Reminds me of the Reba McEntire song, Little Rock. Crazy Bear 53 in Little Rock, Arkansas. We also have Heather Shaw from Pennsylvania. Mike Lockhart from Odessa, Missouri. You know, I haven't been in Odessa, Missouri before, but I think I've been in Odessa, Texas, and I sure as heck was in Odessa, Ukraine. That's just a tiny bit before the Russians decided to try to take it over. So thank y'all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and bring up the news for the week. Let's tune in to see what's happening in the world of country music. Of course, the most important news of every time I do this is giving a shout out to the Country Music Time Machine crew members, the ones that are hugely engaged all week long: Turkey in the Hay, F. Davis, Corey Beaver, Dallas Nyberg. I don't know if Dallas has ever been on this, but Dallas, if you're watching now or you tune in later to the podcast, thank you so much, sir, for being a crew member of the week. I do appreciate it. Comments of the week, got a few pretty freakily crazy ones. This one come from Ray Midwell. He says, if you wouldn't talk so much and just introduce the song. You know, back in my radio days when I probably did thousands of radio shows, they would tell me that too. And I guess as I've ventured into the world of YouTube, that continues on. But as you can see, I responded, hello, Ray, this channel is about the history of country music. It's really tough to talk about the history without, talking about it. But I do really appreciate you watching, Ray. Thank you, Ray. I do appreciate it. And I read all these comments, and some of them just really entertain me a lot. Next up, this is from the Powerful Song Country Songs episode. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It has a lot of views, and I'm going to show you how many views it has in a second. I'm going to be doing another version of this one because there's more than, I think I had 7 or 8 powerful country songs in this episode, and thousands of people have seen it, commented on it. And Wayne Barb says, you got these songs all out of whack. You're wrong. You don't know country, old boy. Well, I don't know. I thought there were some pretty darn good songs. You had Vern Gosdin. You had Vince Gill. You had a lot of cool songs there, So I thought it was really, really cool. But speaking of that, another interesting comment came in about this episode. This fella says, dear God, I hope everyone reads this before they listen to these songs. If you're a very sensitive person, especially if you're taking antidepressive medication, do not listen to this collection of music. I warn you sincerely, this is not something you want to hear. This will put you in a dark, hopeless place. Yeah, that's what my ex-wife says. I fight a battle with depression and anxiety every day. I thought I was doing okay after listening to these songs. Maybe not so good. But I think he a little bit later on put another comment. And he said, Fee J from the Pirates of the Mississippi went right to my soul. So maybe he's okay. Maybe he's okay. And speaking of powerful country songs, and I took this snapshot earlier in the week, 421,000 people have tuned into it, so I guess it's doing pretty good. People like to listen to powerful country songs, so I'm going to do another episode of that. Let's go back to the comment section before we talk about some really big and sad country news. Mike says, Odessa, Missouri is a pretty nice town. We'll have a Chamber of Conference rodeo next month. Well, there is, in the town I'm living in right now, we have a carnival this weekend in Franklin, Tennessee, which is just south of Nashville. Their rodeo is coming up here too soon. And the Nashville rodeo will feature singing Tim McGraw, Jelly Roll, and I think Reba McEntire, if I got it right. I'm not sure. Corey Beaver always tuned in, and he's always in a different place. He's currently in Decatur, Texas. He's about 90 miles from home. I hope you're going in the direction of home, Corey, and not away from home, but, a job's a job. And Jay is tuning in from South Kakalaki. And we all know where South Kakalaki is. That's in the fine state of South Carolina. So we got folks tuned in all over the country tonight. And I just happen to know we got folks tuned in all over the world. And I appreciate that. And I mentioned many times on this channel that my prior career up to a few weeks ago, I was a U.S. diplomat. I was stationed at U.S. embassies all over the world for 24 years. And while my main job was working for Uncle Sam there, I also encountered country music fans in every frickin' country I was in. I was a part of bluegrass concerts in Moscow, Russia, karaoke, country sing-offs, and songwriting contest in Belize, uh, country music in Peru, country music in Paraguay, Nicaragua, in many places. And this next news is sad because I woke up this morning. I didn't know about this until our country music time machine historian, Josh, told me about this. Johnny Rodriguez, I don't know if you heard this news, pioneering Hispanic country music star, dies at 73 years old. That's too young. It's really too young. But another country legend has passed away. And it's really sad because Johnny was just a great dude, and he was pure country. Yeah, he's part Mexican American, but he sang country music like George Jones would love to listen to, or Alan Jackson loved to listen to. He was a pure country singer. He had lots of hits. And I was digging up things on Johnny Rodriguez, and I found this old interview with Johnny. Now, if you know country music and you know country music history, you're going to know about the story about Johnny and the goat. Some say it's true. Some say it's not true. Some say it's partially true. Well, let's bring up a little interview, a little news story about Johnny Rodriguez, where he's going to be referencing that world-famous goat.
As a teenager, Johnny would hitchhike to Garner State Park from his home in Sabinal to meet his friend and now manager, Randy Willis. Money was tight, and food was sometimes hard to come by.
Goat rustling wasn't really that popular around there. We decided we'd get us something to eat, so we made the mistake of going out and procuring some goats in the country, and we got caught.
It was in jail that a Texas Ranger recognized Johnny as the boy who sang at Garner. He helped him get a job at the Alamo Village in San Antonio.
Then I got a job with Tom T. Hall playing guitar in his band, and he introduced me to a record producer in Nashville, Tennessee. And next thing I knew, I went in for the first time in the studio, and my first record was a hit. I was 19 years old, barely 20 years old, and I had about 15 #1 records after that.
You always come back to hurting me.
Oh my gosh, we're going to really, really miss Johnny Rodriguez. He had a bunch of Texas in him. He had that Latino flavor too. That's what made him so special. And Joshua and I were talking about this earlier today. Who was the first Latino country star? And while Freddie Fender was writing music in the 50s and in the 60s, it was Johnny Rodriguez who first hit it big. He, in more ways than one, paved the way for the future Latino country singers like Freddie Fender by the bunch of hits he had. 20 top 10 hits. A bunch of those were #1 hits as well. And like I said, the first Latino country star. We will definitely miss Johnny. It's just sad. And Corey's tuned in about it. He says, I was shocked to hear that news. Didn't even know he was sick. Well, I'm tired of country legends passing away. Johnny Rodriguez and my mother shared a birthday, December 10th. He was 3 years old when Mom was born. And speaking of Mom, on this episode, we're featuring moms. We're talking about Country Loves Mama. I've got that episode out, and we're going to be getting into the mamas of country music in just a little while. But once again, it's a sad passing, a sad day when more country legends go away, and one did yesterday when Johnny Rodriguez passed away. All right, from goats to pigs we go. This is the Academy of Country Music Awards. That happened on Thursday, and no, I did not watch it live because, I go to bed early, And award shows trigger me because they start talking politics and not playing country music, and that sort of gets me upset. So I don't usually watch them. I'm usually snoring by that time anyway. But I did miss Jessie here with her pig. Beautiful lady with a beautiful pig, I guess. The biggest winner at the, at the Academy of Country Music Awards was Lainey Wilson. She won just about everything. Bravo for Lainey. Lainey is a country music singer too. Also, bravo to Ella Langley and Zach Top. They won awards. Ella actually won more than one award. It was good to hear it. And it was only a slight crossover influence in country music because I rewatched some of the parts of the award show. So I think that was an enjoyable award show. I think it happened down in Texas this year in Frisco, I believe. They did a good job from what I saw. I didn't see everything, but when Ella and Zach and Lainey wins, that's pretty cool. But the coolest moment from the award show was this moment. You guys know I love Alan Jackson. Now, if I never told you this story before, I'm going to tell you now. I can't remember if I told you it or not, but I was working with Alan Jackson on one of his shows, and I had the stomach flu. And it was my job that night to interview him, of course, for the radio, and then introduce him on stage. And I went up, introduced him on stage, and I was walking off stage. Alan was walking on stage. And he looks at me and he says, Kevin, you look like you're going to be sick, just like Alan Jackson talks. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I almost threw up on Alan Jackson. Thank God I didn't. Thankfully, I held it in. But that's one remembrance I have of, there's many, but that's one of them that I always remember. But Alan Jackson won the Alan Jackson Lifetime Achievement Award. And I watched his acceptance speech, and it was great. It almost made me cry to watch it because Alan only has, according to him, one more show to do. Next Saturday will be his final concert. I hope he changes his mind. I hope his health gets better, and I hope he can come back. But this may be it. So I hope folks have got tickets to his final show. But I want to play you this clipping. This is the one and only Alan Jackson accepting the award from Reba McEntire.
Thank y'all. Thank everybody so much. It's quite an honor. A few years ago, one of my fans named their dog after me, and I thought that was something, but man, this just really is amazing. And just be serious now. I came to Nashville with a paper sack full of songs and a crazy dream, and all these years later, I'm standing here receiving such an honor like this. It's just mind-blowing. I thank God all the time for all the people that have been part of my life and career that have helped me get here and maintain this all this time. And thank you. And, there's so many people, I can't even begin to thank everybody tonight that's been a part of my life and career. But I especially want to thank my fans all over this country and all over the world that have appreciated my music so much. I thank y'all for everything. And I do want to especially thank one person that's been my best friend since I was 17 years old. And it's my wife, Denise, out there. She's loved me through the good and the bad and the happy and the sad, and has influenced me, gave me 3 beautiful daughters, and has helped me keep my feet on the ground all these years. I wouldn't be here without her, and so there's not much else I can say It's better than that. But thank y'all so much for this honor and for all the years. God bless y'all.
God bless you, Alan Jackson. You know, I can't even put into words what Alan Jackson means to country music. It was folks like Alan Jackson and George Strait and Randy Travis that made that bridge of country music from the 80s into the 2000s. And folks like, Zach Top and Lainey Wilson and those were influenced by Alan Jackson. So let's hope there are more folks out in the world like Alan Jackson, more country singers come up singing like Alan Jackson did. And a lot of comments coming in. You see them on the screen here. Jay Cat says, congrats to Alan. Well deserved. Glad to see award shows getting back to country music. Amen to that, Jay Cat. Donna Marie Curtis says, well deserved. Donald Carter says, remember when, which was one of his best songs ever. And Sue Montgomery says, well deserved, a true legend. Thank you, Alan, for what you have given to all of us, and God bless. Yes, God bless Alan Jackson. And thank God we do have his music to enjoy forever. Sad that he's starting to fade away now, but his music never will. It's always going to be with us. And Alan Jackson had a song called Gone Country. Remember that one? I think it was the 90s. And a lot of pop stars have gone country or say they're sort of country, and we sometimes don't agree with if they're country. Another one planning to do that is Ed Sheeran. And here's a quote that Ed said. This is from the folks over at Kiss Country. He says, I'm going to move to Nashville and transition to country, but I think you have to do it properly. It's a genre you really have to respect. Well, I really hope you do respect it, Ed Sheeran. Sing country music and we will love you. So let's bring up, here's a little, and I think this is from an earlier ACM award show where Ed Sheeran is talking about his love or possibility of going into country music.
I'm a massive country fan. Country music is what we have on in the house all day long, me and my wife. And, I've lived in Nashville all of 2013 and all of 2018. And it really left a lasting mark on me. I love country music and I feel accepted here. It's great. I was actually, I got to meet Dolly Parton at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with my dad, which was like a really cool moment. But it's funny, I was explaining earlier to someone here that Garth Brooks songs were covered in England by other artists and made massive in England. So we've sort of inadvertently grown up listening to it.
Well, I hope that Ed Sheeran covers Alan Jackson or Randy Travis or George Jones. But good luck to you, Ed Sheeran. I do hope you just don't come into country because pop is getting weird and you want to make more money. Respect it. Listen to the legends like Alan Jackson, Hank Williams, George Jones, Conway Twitty. You got the talent, brother, and I hope you can show it. So, another comment here. This is from the American songwriter. This came from Kelsey Ballerini. Why Kelsey Ballerini believes country music is for everyone. Kelsey Ballerini told Elle, sometimes I just cannot say her name right, but Ballerini, she says, if we as country artists feel like we can have a collab on a top 40 or have a collab with an R&B artist, why wouldn't we give a welcome to someone else? I think that's where people who are pushing back really need to check themselves because music is for everybody. And especially and specifically country music, the marquee of it is the people's story. Well, I'm going to agree and disagree with you there, Miss Ballerini. Yeah, the people, it's the people's story. There's no doubt about it. And the lyrics of the common man and woman are the important thing about it. But Kelsey, the key here is not loads of pop stars or rap stars coming over to country music and saying they're singing country music when what is coming out of their mouth and their instruments does not resemble country music. You can't put a label on something. I can identify as a multimillionaire. Reality says I am not. So, I do agree with Kelsey in some ways, and I disagree with her in others. Keep the genre strong. You will dilute it if 50% of what you hear on the radio is pop country. And I saw this comment online too. This is from the Nashville, Tennessee, and that's our local newspaper here. We don't really read newspapers anymore, but this person, Cache McClay, it almost sounds like a country name in a sense. Beyonce's powerhouse Cowboy Carter tour blends country music with cultural commentary. Apparently, Cache does not have much country music history cachet because while she is blending cultural commentary, a lot of what's coming out of her mouth and the instruments around her is not really what has historically been considered country. So, I'll keep bringing it up. It's just the way it is. I just saw something that William May said, YouTube just put up a couple of commercials. I don't know what happens when they do that. I really don't. And it's like they're controlling the ship in some ways here. I don't know if I keep talking or if it blocks me out and you just hear me in the middle of a sentence. Maybe on the replay it works right. But and JCat says, there's the B word. Yes, I used the B word again. 50th anniversary in country music. Some folks are celebrating. Two folks celebrating something about 50 years. One is the incredible Reba McEntire that we featured here on the Front Porch podcast not long ago. 50 years. Hard to believe she's been around that long. And she still looks beautiful, too. And also 50 years of Redheaded Stranger. You Texas fans, I know you folks down in Texas will love Willie Nelson because he really didn't like Nashville a whole lot and headed down to Texas and made his hangout there. So 50 years of Redheaded Stranger. That's pretty cool. Another fella I worked with through the years was Mark Chestnut. Good fella. Just a good fella. The first time I met Mark was outside a club called the Beach Wagon in Myrtle Beach and interviewed him on our bus. We had a bus back then. And he was just a nice, cool guy. While some country stars I've seen drunk. Others, were just chill. And Mark was a chill kind of guy. Mark Chestnut took his last drink on November 1st, 2023. Apparently it got real bad for him. He had some physical ailments, and to try to kill the pain, he was taken to the bottle a lot. And I hope you're still hanging in there, Mark Chestnut. You are real country, brother, and I want you to hang in there because we don't want to lose you. So, I'm glad to hear this good news. Hope to see you on the road sometime soon, and we love you, Mark Chestnut. So you stay healthy and you hang in there. And also, I just wanted to end with this on the news thing. Billy Ray Cyrus has had a lot of women through the years. And when I was, Billy used to work in Myrtle Beach a lot when he first started coming out. And so I had to work with Billy a lot where he was playing. And he had lots of women back then too. But so do all the country stars, really. But his current lady is Elizabeth Hurley. A lot of news about this. And some people are making fun of him. Some people are not. If Elizabeth Hurley can make Billy happy and Billy can make Elizabeth happy, more power to them. I just hope they live a good, clean life. If they can love each other, congratulations. It's not easy in this day and age to find a good woman or a good man. I'm a single guy and I haven't found one yet. So congrats to Billy. He's more handsome than me and he's got more money. So that's why he's doing so good. Taking a look at the comments section. Anything good here? Mike is saying he found Toby Keith's 1996 album called Blue Moon last weekend at the garage sale. I have Toby Keith's music, and I'm going to have a garage sale if it doesn't rain again in Tennessee next Saturday. but I'm not going to be selling any of my Toby Keith. I'll be selling my Beyonce, but not Toby Keith. Toby Keith stays forever. All right. Tomorrow is a big day. I want to let you guys know, if you are tuned in right now, if you want us to give a shout out to your mom, just pop it in the comment section. Mother's Day is tomorrow, May 11th, 2025. I released the Country Loves Mama episode a few days ago. A lot of folks have been tuning into that about the country songs about Mama. There was a bunch of them, a bunch of good ones too, and we enjoy them all. But I want to give a shout out to all the mamas out there. So the first shout out is to my mom. Now look at that picture. Why is it when I look at pictures made in the 40s and 50s, I think that was made in 1960, so almost 50s. They're just beautiful and gorgeous and elegant and glamorous. I don't know. That's why maybe this channel is called the Country Music Time Machine, because I want to get in a time machine and go back and experience that. But yeah, that's my mom back in 1960. Right sort of in front of her house. That's her and I on the front porch. It wasn't raining that day or frigidly cold outside. And that's where, if you drive by this house, you'll see us most of the time. So happy Mother's Day to my mom. Also, a lot of good country moms out there. And we're going to salute a few of them and show you a few of them. Hank Williams and his mom, Jessie. And if my memory serves me right, and Joshua can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was his mama's idea, or when he and his mama were in the car driving back from a show and going back home in Alabama, and they came near an airport. I think it was his mama who yelled, "Look, Hank, look at the lights. I saw the light." And that was the inspiration for the gospel song, "I Saw the Light." So that's Hank Williams and Jessie there. George Jones and his mom, Clara. We're going to start out with some of the legends here. And of course, we've lost both of those folks a while back. There is Reba McEntire and her mom, Jacqueline. Jacqueline McEntire passed away sadly in 2020. What about Kane Brown? There is Kane Brown and his lovely mama, Tabitha. And I've got a little clip from Kane Brown. I've got a couple of clips to play for you. And this clip is from Kane. And Kane, so much we get from our moms. So much we learn. They try to teach us, to keep us on the right track, to keep us safe. When we're 14, 15, 16, we often don't listen and do stupid things, but hopefully it gets inbred somewhere and ingrained in our psyche, and we become good people. One thing that Tabitha ingrained into Kane was a work ethic. Let's listen to Kane talk about that work ethic.
Talk about, where'd you get that work ethic from?
Really, from my mom.
Yeah.
Raising two kids as a single mom. We didn't have anything growing up, and she worked her butt off just to give us whatever we wanted. And
yeah.
Really, she's really where I got it from.
Yeah.
Just a great supporter. My whole family, my nana, my aunt, they all love it. My nana still cries whenever she sees me on stage. So it's just, yeah, they love it.
And old Kane Brown has some good country songs too, so I'm sure that Tabitha is very proud of him. There is Jelly Roll and his mama, Donna. Would that make her Donna Roll? No, I can't remember Jelly Roll's real name because we all know him as Jelly Roll, but I think that woman should be getting a special award, because Jelly Roll, as we all know, or those who follow him, was in and around Nashville here. He was in trouble with the law continuously. Supposedly 40 arrests. They're actually thinking about pardoning him now. Governor Bill Lee here in Tennessee is going to make that decision. I don't know if he's made it yet or not. But that is a patient mama to put up with all that. And now she can enjoy his success. Jelly Roll and his mama, Donna. There's Blake Shelton and his mom, Dorothy. Lovely lady. What about Brantley Gilbert and Becky? Beautiful mom with Brantley Gilbert. Now, this next picture, this is Riley Green with his mom, Karen. And I was out there looking for interviews or something from moms, from especially country star moms, and I really couldn't find a lot of stuff out there to use on this program tonight. One place I did find it was from a podcast made here in Nashville called Got It From My Mama. And I tuned into a few of their episodes. If you get a chance to check them out, I do encourage you to check them out. Well, this wonderful lady, Jennifer, interviewed Riley Green's mom, Karen. And in this little clip, they're going to be talking about how hilarious Riley Green was, according to his mama.
He was always entertaining, and that was what he did. So he was either torturing his sisters or something, but he adored them. He adored them, but he was always messing with them. Well, he could always sing, and he always made up new versions of songs. He still calls writing songs making up songs, so he's still doing it. But once we were on a trip a few hours, and he made up new verses to "Oh My Darling Clementine" all the way there. And that was one of those times when his sisters wanted to strangle him because that was a lot. But so he was always doing it.
And Maria, who's always tuned in and always a good supporter of the Country Music Time Machine and, of course, Front Porch Podcast. She is the first person who puts comments. She does it long before the show begins, because when I go into the little program I use to broadcast this thing, I see Maria's comment in there, and I appreciate it. Gets me ready to roll for the show. Maria says, I would like to say thank you to my mom, Rita Harris. She has taken care of me since I had a stroke 3 years ago. Happy Mother's Day. Love you. Thank you, Maria, for giving a shout out to your mama. And we'll continue talking about the mamas of country music. Here's another mama. What about Carrie Underwood and her mom, Carol? Lovely, lovely mama there. Jason Aldean and Debbie. Jason, outspoken. Some people love him. Some people don't love him so much. Not really because his music is great, but some people have problems with his politics, but he loves his mama. Don't we all? There is Hillary Scott and Linda Davis. And someone mentioned to me on the channel sometime this week about doing an episode about mothers or daughters or fathers and sons that followed each other in country music. Linda Davis sang a great song. She had her own career as well, had her own hits, but Linda Davis did music with Reba McEntire. There's Hillary Scott there. Of course, she's big time. So it's not totally common. There's not a bunch of Hank and Hank Williams Jr.'s out there, but it does happen sometimes. Keep rolling here. What about Thomas Rhett and his beautiful mom, Paige? Let's go back over to that pretty cool podcast called Got It From My Mama with Jennifer, and hear a little bit from Thomas Rhett's mom.
But then his senior year, he did the talent show and sang with this girl. And of course they won, and everybody was like, oh my word, they're so good. And I was like, wow, they really are very good. And then when he was in college, he would pick up his guitar a lot. And that, I think, is when he always journaled and wrote stuff, but it wasn't like he was writing songs to get them published.
Right.
But then once he got into college, and then of course having his dad, who is, was a country singer and then an amazing writer,
Yes.
super creative, he started writing with him and stuff like that. And Rhett was able to open a lot of doors for Thomas Rhett and get him to the right people.
Right.
And then, there was that dreaded day where he came home and said, Mom, you need to sit down. And I sat down and he said, I'm going to drop out of school. He was a junior.
Well, he dropped out of school, and, it's not the right decision to make in most situations, but it worked out for Thomas Rhett. And just so you're not confused here, and some people know this and some people don't know this, but Thomas Rhett's dad is Rhett Akins, who is a great country singer. So when she was making that reference there, well, it sounds a little bit confusing for those who don't know about it. That's really what she was talking about. About Lauren, Elena, and Christy. They look like sisters. They don't look like mother and daughter in that picture. Two lovely, lovely ladies. Luke Bryan and LeClaire, that's his mama there. A good woman. Morgan Wallen and Leslie, that's his mama Leslie. Good picture there. Tim McGraw and Betty. Tim McGraw is going to be singing in Nashville. I think it's this month. Nashville Rodeo. I can't remember when it is, but he's going to be at the arena here in Nashville singing again. He's coming back from some injuries, but that's Tim and his mama, Betty. And finally, there is Keith Urban and his mom, Marianne. A bunch of great mamas in country music history. And you know, you guys, if you get a chance, please check out that episode called Country Loves Mama. A lot of good mama songs. Almost all of them are mama songs. And it'll bring back a lot of memories for you and make you probably think about your mama a lot. Let me turn this screen off now and maybe bring myself back on the main screen because it's time to say goodbye. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and I want to say this, you know, and I mentioned this in the Country Loves Mama episode as well. Not everybody out there was blessed to be raised by their mom. So while I was lucky, I was raised by my mom, mainly by my mama. Some people aren't. Who your mom is does not have to be blood. So reach out to those people in your life, those who had that motherly figure in your life, whether you're a real mom or not, and tell them how much you love them tomorrow. Because without them, where in the heck would we be? You know, it's just impossible to explain what our mamas have done for us. So love your moms. If your mom's already passed away, my condolences to you, because my mama was telling me today how much she missed her mom and dad. So not all of us can experience that time with mama, but don't lose the time. If your mama's still alive, reach out to her, tell her you love her, visit her if you can. If you can't, at least give her a call, send her a message or something, and let her know that. All righty, folks. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank the folks at the Home Depot for partnering with us on the Front Porch Podcast on the Country Music Time Machine. And check out that Blink Outdoor 4 camera. Until next time, y'all know I love you. God bless you. And as always, let's make sure we just keep it country right here on the Country Music Time Machine.
Oh, it's a country music time machine, taking us back to where the grass is green, with twangs and tales from days gone by. Let's ride those old trails beneath the open sky, in our country music time machine, in our country music time machine.